Hi everybody, welcome to part one of Above and Beyond Atlantis. My name is Floyd Bucklew and I hope you enjoy this presentation. I've been on a quest since I was a young teenager, and over the last 20 years I've been using Google Earth as a tool to find what I've been looking for. Obviously it is Atlantis. There's a common day belief that the Eye of the Sahara was Atlantis. In my belief, this is one presentation or one theory of where it was. I believe there was more than one city of Atlantis, and through the thousands of years, it all got blended into being one city. However, like I said, I believe there's three possible locations of where Atlantis was. Obviously, the first one is the Eye of the Sahara. The second one, according to legend, was 40 miles outside of the Pillars of Hercules, which is now the Straits of Gibraltar. If you look in this area, there is obviously something down there, and it's obviously covered with mud. So this is a good possibility that this city also, or this area, could also have been called Atlantis. It was supposed to have been 40 miles outside of the Pillars of Hercules, and had sunk to the bottom of the ocean after three risings and sinkings. I went out towards the Azores, which is also a popular belief that this is where Atlantis is. And this is where I found my most compelling evidence that this is the location of where Atlantis once was. According to Cretes, who told the legend to Plato, there were three cities located there. One was called Poseidon, which was in the center of the three cities. Then to the right, as you looked, there was a city of Atlantis. And then if you look to the left of Poseidon, there was a city called Cretes, C-R-E-T-E-S. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is the first city that I believe is Poseidon. The theory on this, or the belief on this, was that Zeus threw a spear so hard into a hillside that the spear broke and became the city of Poseidon. If you look here, I'm going to show you two pictures that look like a spear that's been thrown into a hillside and broken. Mind you, the Atlanteans were seafaring people, and they used a three-pronged spear like a frog spear. Okay, here's the city of Atlantis. It's to the right. It was a circular city, had gates, canals. There was also two pillars, giant pillars, on each side of Atlantis that marked where Atlantis was. Here's a pillar. Okay, now if you go to the left of these, this is the city of Cretes. This took me a while to figure out what was going on with the city, because they says when they started to build this city, it was so dilapidated and so old that they dug into it 1.5 times. I couldn't figure out exactly what they meant 1.5 times. But then if you look at the shape of this, if you take an octagon and you remove it 1.5 times, it's basically the shape that this city is left in now, which was a little less than half an octagon. Okay, so there you have it, the three cities, Poseidon, Atlantis, and Cretes. They also built to the north of Atlantis a monument or a statue to the god of Poseidon. Now this was supposed to have been so large that you could see it out to sea for 20 miles. It was Poseidon in a chariot with 10 dolphins surrounding it. What they did was basically, what I believe is, they took a mountain and they dug into it like Mount Rushmore is, with the four presidents, and they overlaid it with gold, tin, silver, bronze, and various metals to give the appearance of what it was at that day. Now further to the north, in the continent of Atlantis, they built institutions for studies of the ocean, studies of celestial stars, and various other beliefs and whatever they were teaching at the time. Now this location is also at the north in the mountains. What they believe at the time, was high in the clouds of the mountains, but now due to the flood, it's below the ocean sea level. Okay, if you look very closely, you can make out a very faint trident mark, and there's other ancient Greek symbols there, and I believe that what these were divided off into like dormitories or studies, like different schools, so that it doesn't spell a particular word, it just spells exactly what that area was for. Like Poseidon was for oceans, and these other symbols were probably for planetary study and whatever. Piece of the puzzle, and I was really shocked when I found this. I almost dropped my cell phone when I found it. They said that in the north, they built a monument to Zeus, which was much larger than the statue of Poseidon. This monument, what I discovered, is approximately over 12 miles long and approximately 2,000 to 3,000 feet high at the fingertips. It's between two islands and the Azores, and you can look at it, it's almost identically, or it's almost in the middle of the two islands. Okay, with that in mind, you have the three cities of Poseidon, Atlantis, Cretes, the continent of Atlantis, and you have these institutions where they did their studies, and they have the monument of Zeus. I believe that these all fit the clues that have been handed down in Plato's Tales of Atlantis. You can read up on it yourself. Just pull up Plato's Tales of Atlantis, Cretes' Tales of Atlantis. Just one more point of mention here. All of these items that I've showed you, these areas, are well below 6,000 feet below the surface of the ocean. You cannot go out there and swim to see these areas. If you go out, you can take a boat and use a side scanner, use a fish finder possibly. But most of these items are well over a mile below the ocean's surface. So don't think that you can go out there and just swim out to see these things. It would take a professional with a professional equipment to go out and do any observations of these. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.